Clover lawns are everywhere right now. Your whole feed is telling you to rip out your grass, throw down clover, and never fertilize or water again. And some of that is actually true. But before you tear up your yard, there's a handful of things nobody selling you clover seed is going to mention. And a couple of them you will genuinely regret if you don't know them first. So I'm going to give it to you straight. What clover actually does well, what nobody warns you about before you switch, and the one smart way to get almost all the upside with almost none of the headache. No fluff, no hype. Let's get into it. First, let's be fair, because clover isn't a fad for no reason. There are real reasons it's taking over, and you should know them. Number 1, and this is the big one, clover feeds itself. Clover is a legume, which means it pulls nitrogen straight out of the air and puts it into your soil through its roots. Nitrogen is the exact thing you pay for every time you buy a bag of lawn fertilizer. So a clover lawn basically fertilizes itself for free, and it even feeds the grass growing around it. That's the number one reason people switch. No more fertilizer bill. To put a real number on it, a healthy clover lawn can slash your nitrogen need or wipe it out entirely. And clover doesn't just feed itself, it feeds whatever grows next to it. Seed it into a tired grass lawn, and the grass greens up too, for free, all season. That's the biggest bag on the shelf you never buy again. Number 2, it stays green when your grass gives up. Clover has deeper roots, and it shrugs off heat and drought far better than most regular turf. While your neighbor's lawn is going brown and crispy in August, a clover lawn is still sitting there green, on a fraction of the water. Lower water bill, less stress. And it bounces back faster after a dry spell. Where thin grass just dies out and leaves you a bare patch, clover tends to recover once the rain returns. So you're not only saving water, you're dodging the dead spots that cost you time and seed to fix later. Number 3, it barely needs mowing. Clover grows low, and compared to grass, so you're cutting it way less often, especially the smaller types. The micro-clover types especially stay low enough that plenty of people mow just a few times a season, or barely at all. If mowing is the chore you hate most, that alone can sell you on it. And on top of that, it's cheap to seed, it needs no chemicals, no weed killers, no pesticides, it's soft under bare feet, and it'll actually grow in poor compacted soil where grass struggles. And the seed itself is cheap, a little covers a lot, so the barrier to at least trying the blend version is almost nothing. So yeah, on paper, clover looks like a miracle. Here's the thing though, paper isn't your yard, and this is exactly where the internet stops talking, right when it gets useful. So if this is the kind of straight, no-nonsense lawn talk you want more of, take a second and subscribe, because now we get to the part that actually matters. The stuff nobody tells you before you switch. Downside number 1, and it's the one that surprises people the most. Bees, clover flowers, and those flowers are a magnet for bees, all summer long. Now if you love pollinators, great, that's a plus. But if you've got little kids running around barefoot, or anyone in the house is allergic to stings, a yard full of bees is a real problem, not a cute one. You can mow the flowers off to cut the bees down, but then you've thrown away the pollinator benefit you switched for. You can't fully have it both ways. If you go this route, the honest middle ground is to keep the flowers mowed off during peak barefoot season and to use microclover, which flowers far less. But go in knowing a classic white clover lawn in full bloom will have bees in it, period. Downside number 2, clover does not stay where you put it. It spreads, and it doesn't care about the neat little line between your lawn and your flower beds. It'll creep into your garden, your borders, your gravel, wherever it feels like going. If you're the type who likes crisp, defined edges, clover is going to test your patience. A hard edge, a mowing strip, a deep spade cut, or edging between lawn and beds helps a lot, but it's ongoing work. Clover spreads by nature. That's why it fills in so well. and it's the same trait that makes it wander where you don't want it. Downside number 3, and this is the big one nobody mentions. A clover lawn is not plant it once and forget it. White clover is a short-lived plant. A clover lawn tends to thin out and get patchy after just 2 or 3 years, which means you're back out there reseeding it to keep it full. It's lower maintenance than grass in some ways, sure, but it is absolutely not zero maintenance, no matter what the videos tell you. Plan on tossing a little fresh clover seed down every couple of years to keep it thick, especially in the thin spots. It's a 5-minute job, but if nobody warns you it's coming, you'll think your lawn is failing when it's just doing what clover does. Downside number 4, winter. Clover mostly dies back and goes dormant in cold weather, and it can look pretty rough and ragged through winter and into early spring, and it's to green back up. So if you want a lawn that looks decent year-round, understand that clover has an ugly season. This is exactly why people who go pure clover get disappointed around February and March. The lawn that looked amazing in June looks flat and brown for a stretch. Grass in the mix carries the look through that window. One more reason blending beats switching for most yards. Downside number 5, heavy traffic. Clover is soft, which is nice, but that also means it doesn't take a beating as well as tough turf grass. A high-traffic path where the kids and the dog run the same line every day can wear thin and turn muddy. It's also genuinely slippery when it's wet, more so than grass, so keep that in mind on any slope. For a play area, a dog run, or the path everyone walks, you want tough grass carrying the load, with clover mixed in for the color and the feeding, not clover doing the heavy lifting alone. And downside number 6, which is a quiet deal breaker for a lot of people. Weed control gets hard. Normally, if broadleaf weeds pop up in your grass, you spot spray them with a broadleaf weed killer and move on. But clover is a broadleaf plant too, so any weed killer that kills your weeds will also kill your clover. That means once you've got a clover lawn, your easy chemical shortcut for weeds is gone. You're pulling them by hand. There's no easy selective spray that kills weeds and spares clover, so weed control here is mechanical. Your hands, a weeding tool, and staying on top of it before things go to seed. If hand weeding isn't your idea of a good weekend, factor that in hard. Downside number 7, small but worth a mention if you've got kids. Clover stains clothes. Knees, shorts, socks pick up green clover stains, worse than regular grass. Not a deal breaker, just something you'll notice on laundry day. Downside number 8. A pure clover lawn doesn't give you that flawless, uniform golf course carpet some people are picturing. Up close, it can look a little clumpy and uneven, with a looser, wilder texture. If your dream is a perfectly manicured green rectangle, pure clover will feel messy to you. And one more real-world thing nobody mentions, your neighbors, and in some places your HOA. To some eyes, clover still reads as a weed, and a front yard full of flowering clover can raise eyebrows or even complaints, depending on where you live. Check your local rules before you convert the whole front lawn, so you're not fighting that battle after the fact. And if you're picturing a full switch, know what that actually takes. Going from an established grass lawn to pure clover usually means killing off or stripping out your existing grass first, prepping the soil, and starting over. That's real work, real time, and a yard that looks torn up for a while before it looks good. It is not a sprinkle and walk away job, and that's a big reason the blend wins for most people. You skip the teardown entirely. So let me say something honest here, because you're not going to hear it in most of these videos. Clover is not a magic replacement for a lawn. It's a trade. You trade your fertilizer bill and some watering for bees, spreading, reseeding, an ugly winter, and harder weed control. For some people, that trade is absolutely worth it. For others, it's a nightmare. The whole point is knowing which one you are before you rip everything out, not after. And be clear on what clover won't do, so you're not let down. It won't fix bad drainage. It won't turn a shaded, no-sun corner into a lush lawn. Clover still wants decent sun, and it won't give you a flawless carpet on its own. It solves the feeding and the drought problem. It does not solve every lawn problem, and anyone telling you it does is selling something. Real quick, before I give you the smartest way to actually do this, if you want the stuff I don't have time to cram into one video, the exact clover seed I'd trust, the right seeding rates, and a simple month-by-month plan for whatever you decide to do with your lawn, I put all of it in one place over at backyardverdict.com. It's the practical stuff, no filler, the way I wish someone had just handed it to me. The link's in the description. Now, here's the part that changes everything. Here's what almost nobody tells you, and it's the single most useful thing in this whole video. You do not have to choose between all grass and all clover. In fact, you probably shouldn't go all clover at all. The smart move, the one that landscapers and old-timers actually use, is to mix clover into your existing grass. A blend. When you seed a little clover into a normal grass lawn instead of replacing it, here's what happens. The clover feeds nitrogen to the grass, so the whole lawn gets greener, and you slash your fertilizer. You get the drought resistance and the green in summer. But, because it's mostly grass, you keep the durability, you keep the even look, you keep the traffic tolerance, and the grass fills in during clover's ugly winter season. You get the best of both, and you dodge most of the downsides. That is the answer the hype videos skip right over, because telling you to rip out your whole yard makes for a better thumbnail. Think about what you keep when you blend. You keep a lawn that takes foot traffic. You keep the even, familiar look. You keep grass filling in through winter when clover checks out, and you bolt on free nitrogen, drought color, and less mowing on top. Nothing gets torn up. You're upgrading what you already have instead of gambling it all on a trend. And if you want to lean into it, look for micro clover specifically, not the big old-fashioned white clover. Micro clover is a smaller cultivar. It grows lower, it stays more uniform, and here's the key, it produces far fewer flowers, which means far fewer bees. It's more expensive per bag, but it solves a big chunk of the problems I just listed, especially if you blend it into grass rather than going pure. So for most people, the ideal recipe is simple. Mostly grass, micro clover mixed through it. That combination quietly fixes the two biggest complaints, the bees and the patchy look, while still handing you the feeding and the drought benefits. You don't need much clover in the mix at all. A small fraction of clover seed relative to your grass seed is plenty, because clover spreads on its own once it's established. Start light, you can always add more, but going heavy on clover is how you accidentally end up with the pure clover downsides you were trying to avoid. So here's the practical plan. If you've got a thin, struggling, sun-baked lawn and you're tired of the fertilizer bill, don't nuke it. Overseed some micro clover right into it. Scratch up any bare or thin areas so the seed hits soil. Scatter the clover seed thinly, mixed in with your grass, and keep it lightly moist for a couple weeks until it takes. A little clover seed goes a very long way, so don't dump it. A thin, even scatter is plenty. It's tiny seed, so mixing it with a handful of sand or dry soil helps you spread it evenly instead of in clumps. Don't bury it. Clover seed wants to sit right at the surface with the lightest covering, so a gentle rake or a quick pass with a roller for good soil contact is all it needs. Do it in spring or early fall, when the weather's cool and damp, not in the peak of summer. Cool and damp is the whole game. Spring and early fall give you the mild temperatures and natural moisture that do half the work for you. Keep the seeded area consistently moist, a light watering once a day if it isn't raining, until you see it come up, usually within a couple of weeks, then ease off as it establishes. And if you're starting a brand new lawn from bare soil instead of overseeding, same idea. Just seed your grass and your clover together at the same time, keep it moist, and let them come up as a blend from day one. Either way, surface seed, light cover, steady moisture. Give it a season, and you'll have a greener, tougher, cheaper lawn without any of the drama of going full clover. From there, maintenance is easy. Mow a little higher than you would pure grass. Water far less than you used to. Skip most or all of the fertilizer, and just top seed a bit of clover every couple of years to keep the mix balanced. That's it. A greener, cheaper, tougher lawn on a fraction of the inputs, and you never tore anything out. Who should actually go all in on a pure clover lawn? Honestly, a pretty small group. If you've got a low-traffic yard, you don't care about a perfectly uniform look, you love pollinators, nobody's allergic, and you genuinely want to stop mowing and fertilizing, then go for it. Clover will make you happy. Everybody else, and that's most people, should blend, not switch. Quick gut check. If you nodded along at low traffic, no allergies, loves bees, hates mowing, and doesn't need it perfect, pure clover will genuinely make you happy. If you flinched at bees near the kids, a dog tearing up the yard, needing it sharp for the neighbors, or wanting easy weed control, you're a blend person, not a switch person. And there's no shame in that. The blend is the smarter play anyway. So let's bring it home. Clover lawns are taking over for some real reasons. They feed themselves, they stay green in a drought, they cut your mowing, and they skip the chemicals. But nobody tells you about the bees, the spreading, the reseeding every few years, the rough winters, the weak spots in high traffic, or the fact that you lose your easy weed control. It's a trade, not a miracle. And for almost everyone, the winning move isn't ripping out your grass and going all clover. It's blending a little micro clover into the lawn you've already got, and getting most of the reward with almost none of the regret. Cheapest, lowest risk way to test it: throw some micro clover into one section of your lawn this season, and watch how it does before you commit the whole yard. Let your own grass tell you the answer. So tell me down in the comments, are you thinking about switching to clover, already tried it, or are you going to blend it in instead now that you know the full picture? I read them and I answer what I can. And if this saved you from tearing up your whole yard on a trend, do me a favor and subscribe, because next time I'm breaking down another lawn thing everyone repeats but almost nobody actually gets right. Now get out there and make the call that's right for your yard, with your eyes open.